Today, we are going to dive into the incredible story of Skandamata, the goddess of Navratri's fifth day. Now, you might know her as a symbol of a mother's love and protection, but her story? Oh, it's so much more. It's a tale of cosmic strategy and how a mother's fierce love became the secret weapon needed to defeat an enemy that was, for all intents and purposes, unbeatable. So, I want you to think about this for a second. It's the central problem of our story today. How do you possibly fight an enemy who has a divine guarantee that he's basically invincible? What do you do when the rules of the universe itself say you can't win?
Well, the answer, as you might have guessed, is Skandamata, and her name tells you everything you need to know. It literally means Mother of Skanda. Her entire identity, her power, it's all wrapped up in this incredible story of motherhood, strategy, and pure warrior strength.
Now, for her devotees, she's seen as a source of peace, someone who can grant your wishes. But it goes even deeper than that. Worshipping her is said to open a path to moksha, ultimate spiritual freedom. So the stakes here are absolutely huge, not just for the gods in the story, but for anyone who turns to her today.
All right, let's meet the bad guy. Every great story has one, and this guy is a real piece of work. His name is Tarakasur. He's a demon whose ambition and power created a crisis so big it brought the heavens to its knees and left the gods completely helpless.
And, you almost have to admire how clever his plan was. He knew Brahma wouldn't just grant him straight-up immortality, so he found a loophole. He asked for a boon that said his death could only come from a son of Shiva. Now, why was that so smart? Because at the time, Shiva was deep in meditation, grieving his first wife, and had absolutely zero intention of ever getting married again. Tarakasur thought he was untouchable. He'd found the perfect cosmic cheat code.
And with that foolproof plan in place, he did exactly what you'd expect. He unleashed total chaos on the heavens. And the gods, well, their hands were tied. Because of Brahma's boon, they were powerless to stop him.
So the gods are desperate. They realize there is only one way out of this mess. They have to break the logic of Tarakasur's boon. They had to somehow convince Shiva to marry again. And not just anyone. It had to be Parvati, who is actually the reincarnation of his first wife, Sati.
But come on, this was never going to be simple. We're talking about Shiva, the great ascetic. To win his heart, Parvati had to prove her devotion through years and years of her own intense spiritual discipline. But she did it. Her dedication finally broke through his grief and they were married. And just like that, step one of the master plan was complete.
And from that divine marriage, a son was born, Skanda. You might also know him as Kartikeya. This was him, the child of the prophecy. The one person in the entire universe who could, legally by the rules of the boon, take down Tarakasur and end his reign of terror.
Okay, so the hero is born. Problem solved, right? Not so fast. See, a prophecy is just potential. It's not a guarantee. The chosen one still needed to be trained, to be mentored, to be given power. He needed his mother to become something more.
And this is the moment. This is the pivot point of the whole story. To prepare her son for his destiny, Parvati takes on a brand new, powerful form. In that instant, she transforms. She becomes Skandamata, the warrior mother.
And if you look at how she's shown, it tells the whole story. She's got 4 arms. In one, she's gently cradling her son, Skanda. But at the same time, she's riding a lion, a symbol of complete and total power. She holds lotuses, which represent purity, and one hand is up in that blessing gesture, the Virata Mudra. It's all right there. She is the nurturer and the warrior all at once. There's this one line from an old text that just captures this so perfectly. It says, "She gave him her own power, making his blood flow." Think about that. This isn't just sword-fighting lessons. This is a mother literally pouring her own divine energy, her own Shakti, directly into her son to get him ready for the fight of his life. And with his mother's strength literally flowing through his veins, Skanda was ready. He went and faced Tarakasur. And the battle was absolutely epic. But in the end, that clever little boon the demon had was finally broken. The son of Shiva did what he was born to do. The invincible was finally defeated.
But this isn't just some dusty old myth. The power of Skandamata, that fierce maternal force, is something her followers connect with right here, right now. And there's a really simple, beautiful story that shows this perfectly.
So the story goes, there was a queen who finally had a son after years of praying. But one day, the little prince just wandered off and vanished. They searched everywhere, but he was just gone.
The queen was obviously heartbroken, just completely lost in her grief. And in that moment of pure desperation, she saw some women worshiping the goddess. And she made a silent vow right then and there. If you bring my son back to me, I will worship you for the rest of my days.
And they say, at the very moment she made that prayer, a kind man who had found the lost boy suddenly realized who he was and started the journey to bring him back to the palace. Her faith, her desperate mother's prayer, was answered. Her son came home.
So, what's the big takeaway from all of this? Well, when people worship Skandamata, they believe she brings them peace and fulfills their wishes. But here's the really cool part, something totally unique to her. Because her son Skanda is always sitting on her lap, when you worship her, you automatically get his blessings too. It's like this incredible 2-for-1 deal of divine grace that you don't find anywhere else. And really, when you strip it all away, the story of Skandamata is so powerful because it connects to something we all understand. It leaves us with this one simple question to think about. Is there any force in this entire universe that's more powerful than a mother's absolute, unshakable will to protect her child?